So this week, our adventurers have gotten quite considerably more powerful, and their unexplainable quest has needed to take them to the astral plane.
Oh, space!
After gathering around for the astral projection spell, which will enable their bodies to influence and move around on the astral plane, they arrive, and after several seconds they are beset by a terrible being of gargantuan size. This creature is known only as an astral dreadnought.
Okay, we've talked occasionally amongst ourselves about the Astral Dreadnought, but I really have no idea what it is.
And you wanted something you didn't know what it is. Enormous and terrifying monstrosities known as astral dreadnoughts haunt the silvery void of the astral plane, causing planar travellers to shudder at the very thought of them. They have been gliding through the astral mist since the dawn of the multiverse, trying to devour all other creatures they encounter. As big as an ancient red dragon, covered head to tail in layers of thick, spiked plates. An astral dreadnought has two gnarled limbs that end in razor-sharp pincer claws. Constellations appear to swirl in the depths of its single eye, and its serpentine armoured tail trails off into the silvery void.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of strange.
It's a big, one-eyed, spiky thing with a tail. Am I missing
You're pretty
anything?
right, yeah.
Yeah?
Its tail looks pretty slug-like in its drawing.
Oh, it's a big space. It's a big spicy space. Spicy? It's
big spicy boy.
It's spicy. You know, why not? It could be spicy.
And if you are travelling to the plane, the astral sea, these things are terrifying.
Ooh, you said the word astral sea there. I don't really know much about the plane lore in D&D. I know there's a lot. Is the astral plane actually space, or is it different?
Well, yes, it is space, but another name for it is the astral sea, because of like the Githyanki sail ships around it and things like that.
But it's not like a big sea with waves.
No, there's no waves.
That would be cool. I might do that.
Yeah, it could be your interpretation.
I'm just drawing Norman in his astral spacesuit down here.
So can I tell you some more things about this creature?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So its challenge rating is 21.
Ooh, so it's pretty tough. Not as tough as Tarask, but
and it has some things which make it incredibly unique. First of all, not a unique thing to it, but very unique to a specific set of monsters. It has an anti-magic cone from that eye.
Oh,
it's so almost like it's beholderish.
Yeah, very beholder-esque. One-eyed, big, because beholder's often very spiky as well.
150-foot cone.
Gee, 150 foot. That's so big. Wow.
The next thing is, I think you'll love it, honestly.
Okay.
It's called its demi-planar donjon.
What?
Any creature or object that the astral dreadnought swallows is transported to a demi-plane that can only be entered by no other means except a wish spell or this creature devouring it.
But how does that feed it?
A creature can leave the demi-plane only by using magic that enables planar travel, such as plane shift, and the demi-plane resembles a stone cave roughly 1,000 feet in diameter with a ceiling 100 feet high.
But why?
Like a stomach, it contains the remains of the dreadnought's past meals, and the dreadnought cannot be harmed from within the demi-plane. If the dreadnought dies, the demi-plane disappears and everything inside it and around its corpse appears. This demi-plane is indestructible.
But, why?
Why does this creature need to make any sense if it dates back to when the universe began?
I mean, sure, but it specifically says it's eating these things. How does that provide?
Maybe it does digest somehow.
Oh, God. I mean, if you
maybe
die
it feeds off their astral energy.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Maybe it's a prison for what it devours.
I assume then there isn't actually much specific information for why this thing or what this thing is, because it is meant to be sort of an old one Cthulhu thing, right?
So yeah, I'll say that it's the description of that says Titans of the Chained God.
Okay, cool, sure.
So Thazradun, the Chained God, created astral dreadnoughts to devour planar travellers who are seeking portals that lead from the astral plane into the outer planes. Portals they might use to gaze upon their gods or realise some dream of godhood.
So these are they're not. This isn't quite an elder god, but it's an elder god's subordinate
It's
kind of thing.
it's basically a guardian of becoming a god.
It's a bouncer that's trying to stop you getting into Godland.
They don't procreate. Their population does not grow. Githyanki and other astral voyagers do hunt these creatures, but they rarely succeed, and the Dreadnoughts aren't in any danger of becoming extinct anytime soon.
I think maybe Norman is very, very slowly swimming away. Trying his best. Okay, there we go. That's a good looking spacesuit, though. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
I
That's
absolutely love it.
some high level gear he's got
It's
there.
like a space conquistador.
It's probably like this. I think the suit itself is what is allowing him to travel.
My favourite line, although it eats and sleeps if it so desires, the Astral Dreadnought does not require air, food, drink, or sleep.
But it just does it.
Oh, it's okay. Hang on.
So if you think about the donjon, right? Because that's
Don-
the terminology they use.
Sorry, what does donjon mean something?
I think it means like room. It means like an apartment, I think. It's like a donjon.
Jesus.
So if you think about that though, in like the middle of a
Why?
fight, it
Yeah.
could just take someone at the fight by literally putting them to another plane.
Yeah, but because it's in a way, I guess it's better than
And also
being
other
swallowed.
stuff could be alive in there.
That's also a scary thought, or a friend to
Yeah.
help you out, some other astral guy. So does this thing have a mouth? It does because it swallows.
Yeah, it
something.
has like a shark mouth.
That's kind of boring. Hang on, I might do something.
With teeth of different sizes.
Is that big enough eye? How big is the eye? Do you think? Maybe it should be bigger.
To read its thing, Gargantuan Monstrosity Bracket Titan.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I need to make this thing bigger anyway. I think Norman's probably got to be a bit smaller as well. Even though I spent ages drawing this little Norman. He's not. I still think this is not big enough.
No, I think it needs to be
There we go.
huge.
I think that's a bit closer.
And the one last thing of why these things are so terrifying, like completely terrifying, is part of how you travel in the astral plane.
Yeah.
So you project yourself to the astral plane, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Your bodies actually stay behind.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And your versions of yourself walk in the astral plane, and behind everyone is something called the silver cord. So this little
like it's
cord
attaching
comes
you.
from between your back, and it goes about a foot and then fades away.
Okay, I'll draw
And
that.
that's your connection to the real world.
Okay.
And what this creature can do is, if it crits you, it snaps the cord,
Oh, jeez.
Ooh, that doesn't sound
and
good.
that's an insta kill.
Is that and that's just dead? Is it not?
That
not-
is dead. That is your soul separated from body dead.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it's clearly because of the design of this, it tries to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Still weaker than the Tarask though, in terms of challenge rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Technically.
obviously living in an environment where like gravity doesn't really matter, it can just be whatever it
Yeah.
wants to be, like shape wise.
Who do you think would win if you were to put the two against each other?
I think they exist in places that are so different that I'm not sure.
I think Tarask, because it can't swallow. Because it can't. If a Tarask was astral projecting.
Yes, I'm saying then it could because a crit will happen at some point.
That is also true. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if they're both, for instance, teleported to somewhere in the astral plane, like physically moved there, and then they fight for the amusement of some elder god.
I think the stress has probably got it.
I think the Tarask has got it, because of this guy's attacks are mean, but
Yeah.
its meanest thing, like it's, plus 16 to hit, 3d6 plus 9. That's his claw.
This thing is good at hunting people.
Yeah. Its best
Specifically.
attack is its bite, which does 5d10 plus 9.
If
is
its
about
best
average
attack
36.
is its bite, I need to give it a big mouth.
The Dreadnought swallows it. The swallowed target, along with everything it's wearing and carrying,
Oh yeah.
appear inside the donjon. Can't get rezzed inside the mouth hole.
In the donjon.
No, yeah. Not in the donjon.
There's no rezzing in the donjon, Sam.
Is
So yeah, this thing, because it swallows people who falls to zero, and it eats and devours things.
yeah.
The people inside that are going to be people that have fallen unconscious and then recovered with time.
Yeah.
So it's everything that's inside it is things that it has defeated.
Yeah. And if you wanted to have like a legendary character that you talked about a long time ago,
The
maybe
king that
getting-
disappeared.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you could have it turn up in there. That could be cool. Option.
You could have a town.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Also, that'd be pretty cool. Swallowed town again. It'd have to be a town that was maybe you astral projected a whole town. Can astral projection work on
I
items?
don't know, but it could just be a town of survivors who built a town in there.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like a Fallout town.
Yeah, and
Like-
maybe made out of bits of gift ships and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's sick, dude.
Yeah. That's
And
the
it's
one.
like when people like gotta go there, they're like, you just gotta fly in the creature's mouth, baby.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking the campaign it's Garen Lagan at the start, where you are you start in an underground town, and then you don't know that you're actually inside an Astral. What's it called
Astral
again?
Dreadnought.
An Astral Dreadnought. That could actually be pretty cool.
That would be sweet.
And obviously, all the older people know because they got swallowed,
Exactly.
but they don't want to talk about it because it's sad. That could be pretty neat. Also, an Astral Dreadnought Garen Lagan, but it's a good idea, so I have to keep in the anime talk. God damn it! I usually cut all the anime from these episodes.
The creature is psychic as well. One of its legendary
Of course it is,
actions
yeah.
is a psychic projection that deals 2d10 plus 4 psychic damage.
Just a good old mind blast kind of thing.
Yeah.
Although
And
not actual D&D mind blast, that's a specific thing. Sorry, mind flayers. We'll get back to you later.
And the mouth you're drawing is a lot more correct than the mouth it has here.
Oh really?
Yeah, because of because it can swallow anything that's huge or smaller.
Huge
Oh,
or
right.
smaller. Oh.
Yeah. Another one of its legendary actions is called the Donjon Visit.
Is
One-
it actually? Who
Yeah.
made this stupid
One
thing?
creature that is huge or smaller that the Astral Dreadnought can see within 60 feet must succeed on a DC 19 Charisma saving throw or be teleported to an occupied space within the donjon. At the end of the target's next turn, the target reappears. So it's going to be taking people in and out of the fight. And
That's
swallowing
so-
people who fall down and
But,
potentially
the-
insta-killing people and things like that.
yeah.
This thing is something that, like, the Tarask is pure, I am going to rip you to shreds. This thing's ripping you to shreds and huffing with the party's dynamic.
I'm trying to figure out which I would prefer to fight, and I guess it's this because it'd be more fun, but you would need a party that's really well set up to do it.
I think that
Although-
insta-kill mechanic is pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, also, crits. Yeah. Everyone's got to get mithril to avoid crits. Although, would that count? It was on the bite attack, was it?
Yeah.
Or was it
No,
any
Any
crit?
attack
Oof.
Oh god.
makes 3 a turn.
Obviously,
No, I
everything
don't
does
like those odds.
It's kind of cute now.
Yeah, one of those. Big... That's one of the worst things I've ever done.
No! Oh my god, that's incredible.
I think it's staying there for now.
My cutest Astral Dreadnought.
My god,
My
it's
Astral
full of
Dreadnought can't
stars.
possibly be this cute.
Exactly.
God.
Yeah.
Enough anime. This thing's dumb. I'm drawing a dumb thing. It's very funny though.
He was supposed to have claw arms as well.
Oh, arms. Hang on. They'll be back here. I'll do those arms later. That's a placeholder. That's what the arms are. What is the classification of this? Is it aberration?
Monstrosity brackets Titan.
I would have thought it would be an aberration for some reason.
But we've never been to the Astral Sea really in our games, have
No,
we?
we've never done it because I think it's one of those things where, well, for one thing, it's a high level thing generally. I'm sure you could. Actually, could you do any low level stuff in there? Probably not,
It
right?
has to be set there.
Yeah, you'd
have
have
to
to
be there.
really work at it. Yeah, it's like how we haven't done a lot of Underdark stuff because it's so like heavy in the lore. I think the thing about astral plane stuff is you have to have a party that really knows what they're doing and is very prepared to be doing it as well.
Speaking as an authority on it, as someone who knows nothing about the astral plane, it sounds quite like specialist, so it's probably something that...
New players are not going to be going
Yeah,
there.
and
It's the final area in
I think
Dark Souls.
we've always ended up playing with people who are fairly on the newer side whenever we do
That's
sessions, so it's probably one of those ones where it's like, you don't really want to chuck it at people.
And also, like, new DMs are probably not going to reach for the...
No.
Again, unless, like, someone's like, man, I really like Cthulhu stuff. I like aliens. I like space. What's the way to do that in D&D without having to make up a load of homeworld stuff? Astral plane. I'm very confused about these arms, and I know it's entirely my fault because I have just drawn a beholder with one eye and
You've drawn
a
a
long
big
tail.
devouring sperm.
No, we're not. That's getting cut. We're not talking about how I've drawn a big sperm
Why not?
because I have.
Yeah,
It's too late.
that's okay.
It's too late to change it. I
Oh.
haven't drawn a big muscly arm for a... Actually, no, I drew a big muscly arm last time. I draw big muscly arms every time we do anything. I didn't give it a tongue, though.
No,
How's that?
Good job.
There's
I haven't drawn a tongue in a while.
Well, the tongue should be, it's just space, but
That's true.
Yes.
I don't know what to do about these arms, man.
I like the perspective a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, did it say it had big muscly arms?
I shall read the book again. It has 2 gnarled limbs that end in razor-sharp pincer claws.
And it has attacks with those, so it has to be able to use them.
Yes.
So I can't just put them back
Has
here.
claw, 16 to hit, 20-foot reach.
This is taking ages. This is taking forever. Everything else is fine. What am I going to do?
Well, let's talk about...
Oh, hang on. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And it doesn't make any sense. It has arms, but who says they're attached to the body?
I get
Nobody.
it.
That's who. It's going to have 2 little arms that'll float with psychic energy, like little ships. It's gonna have hey, if it's a dreadnought, it's going to have, like, support frigates and stuff around it.
Yep.
Fact.
Yep.
The Astral Dreadnought and its frigate arms.
Yeah, now I need to... Okay, but now I have a problem because I need to find a place to put them where it's clear that they're separate and I'm not just messing
them on.
about. So I haven't really actually made this easier in any way, but it's certainly funny.
So, use cases, you want something to really scare them on the Astral Sea.
Yeah.
That's all you can do with it.
I mean, that's exactly what it's for.
Yeah.
Again, if you have a campaign set in the astral plane in some way, maybe it could be hunting you and you're trying to escape.
Mm.
And again, it has that, it's like a ring wraith essentially in its function, and that it's something you're not trying to fight.
Letting them know this thing exists through myth and legend.
If you're having like a montage of like people like being thrown through different planes, it could be like the bit in Star Wars, the first one, as in episode 1, where the bigger fish whole thing,
Yeah.
and like you for a second you guys are all zapped into the astral plane, and then you suddenly you see the astral dreadnought coming to get you, and then you suddenly get zipped to another plane. That you could use it like that, but actually using it as the monster that it is, I think that'd be quite hard to do.
It would be an intense encounter.
The other thing about that though is that the party's not necessarily going to know it can just kill you with a crit. And that's going to be annoying if they don't know that ahead of time.
Yeah, that'd be a frustrating way to die. I can see a player like getting very annoyed at that.
Well, the party's high level and has to know that they're coming to the astral plane for a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they are
a good
warned
reason as
about
well.
these things.
Yeah.
Maybe even explicitly, because they're high level, this thing is guarding what they need to get to.
I think having it being something, you don't really want to just have it wandering around, because if your party's in the astral plane, they're probably there because they shouldn't be. So this thing should be coming for them. Like, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So
like a myth or legend about people who don't belong, these things come for you. So you've got a limited time in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be used as that as like you can tell them like don't mess around. Like you need to go and do your objective.
And if you're going to, I think you need to get across the idea that it can insta kill you. Like that the party somehow needs to know that. I don't know how. I guess you could just tell them. It wouldn't be great to do that, but I'd rather that than have it surprised.
The way that you can describe it in World is that most creatures will ignore your silver cord while you're within the astral plane.
Yeah.
But these terrible
hunt them
dreadnoughts are
out.
here to hunt those cords.
Yeah, and if
it gets lucky in combat, it may be able to sever it while you're fighting it.
Yeah, and maybe you could even have just like an NPC in the astral plane, who like a old Gith pirate or something, telling you, basically to that effect.
Oh my god, a white astral dreadnought that Moby Dick Githyanki is chasing.
Oh, that's good. I like that a lot. That'd be awesome. That's cool.
I have no idea where it comes under the number game, though.
That's true.
I don't know what number to give this.
I have no idea. I think it's probably going to be low. Although
cool. It's either really low or really high, to be honest, for me. I'm kind of torn.
It's got a donjon. How are we going to get the donjon?
It's got a donjon. The donjon's in his mouth. What I've drawn is a pufferfish. That's really what it is.
Yeah. With rocket claws.
It's got rocket claws. They look dumb. They look exactly like I expected, really. that might be one of the stupider things I've done on this show.
It's like a spore creature.
It really is. It really is a spore creature, isn't it?
I can see, again, I agree. I'm thinking low, but low because of... actually, I have no idea.
I don't
okay.
know. We need to really, like, I don't know, like, define what the number means.
I will say that if you're doing stuff in the astral plane and you don't use this, you're messing up.
You are correct.
Yep.
This is an essential thing for an astral plane thing. And obviously this isn't something that you can just use wherever. It's inflexible, which is usually an issue, but again, you wouldn't want to adapt this to anything else. It's not like a vampire where you might think, oh, I'd like to use it like this. It's not like... It's not even like a beholder where you're meant to use it in... where you're kind of meant to adapt it to your own needs. This is something that you're supposed to use in this one specific place, and that's what it's for, and you can't do anything else with it. Like, you could chuck it. You wouldn't have to use it in an astral plane, specifically.
I actually think you do.
No, but I mean, like, if you have, like, a... if you're not playing in, like, an official D&D setting...
Yeah, that's true.
But you want, like, a space thing. Like, this... I could imagine you having one of these flying down to Earth.
Yeah.
Like, a la Moon Presence Bloodborne. And it being a horrific event.
I could definitely see what you mean about just co-opting the monster for that purpose.
And what you could do there is, like, it's come down to Earth realm. It's Mortal Kombat now.
Yeah.
And then maybe, you know, it's weakened or it's gonna die eventually from, like, withering and not being in space.
It's gonna be killed by water.
Yeah, exactly. Nice one, M. Night.
It
But
could
then
be an origin myth of a race.
yeah, and that could be...
race could have been within the donjon.
Maybe your party's meant to think it's a beholder if they see, like, pictures of it or whatever, and then they find out later, oh, it's this. Again, it's all sort of up in the air, but I think, as my initial point, if you're doing astral plane stuff, you need to use this. Even if you're not using it, if you're just using it as, like, a set piece, I think that would be cool. Because otherwise, why are you in the astral plane, guys? Come on.
I do have to agree with you. You've certainly... The idea that this is, like... Not even essential quote, because their quest might not be essential to that. But it's such a good thing to use there.
Yeah.
And it's very fun to have this gargantuan creature that defies, like... It's very much outer space elder creature kind of thoughts. And this is a problem, I think, we have in doing large monsters. Yeah. Is that their use cases, except for, I think, like Kraken and Ancient Dragon...
Yeah.
Are very limited in scope.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
The Kraken and Ancient Dragon ones are obvious, you know, you can use an Ancient Dragon anywhere. A Kraken is essential for a sea adventure, you have to have a Kraken.
You have to have a Kraken.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
And
I'll
it's
do Kraken
cool.
sometime, it's a great one. One of my favourites.
But with these creatures like Tarask and this, you have to use them right. Now, I was low, quite low in fact. Not too low because of how edge case they are. But the special rules of, like, the special room, severing the core...
It's got a donjon. I mean, that's probably worth, like... That's worth 2 points.
2 points for donjon, yeah.
Per syllable per point.
Yeah.
Don, 1 point. John, 2 points.
Exactly.
Yep.
Anti-magic cone, not high, but I'm going to go 13.
Okay.
I'm going to go 13 because it was low and then it kind of got bumped up.
That's fair. Sam, you got a number?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of what's said is correct. I think it's just it's hard just not having no play experience of the astral plane. It kind of I feel really conscious that that's affecting my score, because maybe if I knew more about it and I played it more, then I'd be like, oh man, it's the best. But it has a lot of very unique things, and that's always cool. Like, uniqueness is a very desirable trait, and it does serve a very good purpose. So 14, why not?
14 seems good.
It looks cool.
I 100% agree with both of you, and I especially agree with you, Simon, that, like, I want to kind of play against one now. I want to actually do an astral plane adventure and see how that goes, because I think the potential is very cool, and just because I do, like, it kind of feels I prefer, like, Cthulhu stuff to just straight up regular big monsters. So I'm probably going to give it quite high. Maybe like a 16. I quite like it.
Yep.
It's cool, but it is definitely real silly. But I think there's few things in D&D that are like super scary, and I think this would be quite scary to fight.
Yeah.
It's like the Beholder. That's scary because everyone knows it can insta kill you, or like pretty much. And this thing can insta kill you, and that's scary. But also, it's just like you're likely going to be fighting it in a situation that you unless you've been doing a whole adventure in the astral plane, you are in a very different environment to where you've been used to be playing. So you're far away from home, and then this thing floats out of space, and maybe you can see it a long way off as well, coming for you. And I think the potential for that is better than a Tarask, because the Tarask is just, it's cool and it's the big scary, but it's the Tarask, and it just hits you and swallows you. This thing's got a donjon.
That's amazing. Like, that's proper like album box art eyeball right there.
Yeah, that eye is insane.
I remember towards the end of the drawing, I decided to make the eyeball a sort of void cloud thing, but I didn't really talk about that. And in the sketch, it sort of doesn't really look like anything. So just maybe now people will understand, looking in, what I was going for.
And I see the hole to the donjon.
It's the donjon. It is the black hole to the donjon.
Which I have been made aware means fortress.
Yeah, it's a fortified room building thing. So it's an interesting use of the word. Definitely not the word I'd reach for, but fine. Go nuts, whoever invented this.
Norman's looks fantastic as always.
He's really kitted out in his Buzz Lightyear outfit, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's specially made for him. Also, special note should be made of the missile crab arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The giant enemy crab arms.
When I drew it, I was like, I forgot that I did that.
Mm.
And I was like, why did I do that? And I just remembered, oh yeah, it's because I couldn't figure out a way for it to look good, so I just didn't. Which is
There's something to it.
I think it actually kind of worked, and it definitely is weird.
I also like the maybe idea because it's a creature that sails the void, that almost like it's a mutualistic relationship between claw and beast. You know, like sharks and...
The things that finish.
Yeah.
Swim alongside, get those scraps.
But you know what yours is crying out for?
What's that?
It's absolutely crying out for this, and this is Wizard's shame.
Oh yeah?
A mouth beam.
I don't know why. I really thought you were going to say it was shouting out for subscribers.
That
was the way you were going to pan.
Maybe it is.
And I don't think we should just threaten people with being put in the donjon if they don't subscribe.
How about some hope?
Now that you've been sucked into the donjon, you've found...
It sounds very similar to the word dungeon, doesn't it?
It does. Maybe that's why. Donjon. Maybe... Dungeon probably comes from that word.
Oh my god. We've discovered something that linguists never knew.
They probably did. I bet those words are related. Now I look silly, potentially. If you press the dislike button, there's a 5% chance your tether on your back will be severed and you'll instantly die. So instead, press the like button.
Yeah. See this white void all around this video?
Yeah.
It's because you're in the Astral Sea.
YouTube.
Baby.
The Astral Sea.
Unless you're in night mode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're in night mode, but then you're maybe above the waves.
You're in the Astral Sea at night.
Yeah, you've got your eyes closed in the Astral Sea.